a...
Streaming is on.
Good. Okay. So that makes sense. So now we'll just double check that we're good on YouTube. I'm on the back end of YouTube. How are we looking there? Looking pretty good. What about front end? Front end of YouTube. Right. Okay. So we want to change that to Humanity's Destiny.
Right. Okay, so we want to change that to Humanity's.
Good. That's nice. That's in high def. Humanity's Destiny. Ooh. Oh, I'm hearing from the space station. That's the problem. We don't want that audio. That's right. So we've killed that audio. Humanity's Destiny, September 10th. Yeah. Save that. Now, let's go back and see what we're... Yeah, good. So there we go. So we're up on YouTube. I'm at the podium. And students are coming in. We'll go with signage behind me. We're good with Toria. So let's see what's happening when we do this. Okay, we'll do that. Do we need to worry about that? No, we don't. But we do need to worry about this. So let's just take a look and see what happens. Yeah, okay. That's good. Okay. So let's establish that for the very bare minimum. Yeah, so there's our YouTube, and it's, 2 or 3 seconds behind, but that's good if they see that. We have the space station up there. We have DC Connect. We have the world map. We have that, but we're going to need Toria. We're going to need to bring that out. Yeah. Okay, so, we've got everything here. Just getting this all fixed up for all of you online and later for the recording. I'm just dealing with tech at the moment, but we're going to start very shortly. The class is slowly filling up with students. We've got, for now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18 students or so. So that's good. We've got a good in-person group. And we have, of course, online. We have 7. And how does that look on YouTube? That looks nice, because there's how it comes out on YouTube, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so we'll keep that up there. And I suppose I can put the world map over here. But, whoops. Okay. Oh, well. Yes, because we don't need all of that stuff. Right. Right. But we do need this. And so why don't we just park that up here? And we'll park that over here. So we see enough, and we've got enough of the live chat up there. We can kind of do this. We'll do this. Yeah, we'll go space station over here. So that's enough. Otherwise, it gets very cluttered. Good. Okay, so we're almost ready. And the critical thing is that we've got a clean stream going on YouTube. Let's refresh that over here. Yeah. We've muted that, so that's not going to get in the way. The recording is going. So I think that we are very close. Come on in, everybody, and I will start to. Yeah, come on in. Great. Maybe get a few more people in the couches here. Anybody want to come and make themselves comfortable there? Okay. So that's good. Stay like that. And I think what we should do, just to make sure that we're going, is I'm going to get everybody to put their names up on the board now for our on-board group. So I will leave this here for now, and if you could, in the next just 2 or 3 minutes, Humanities Destiny on board for today, come over here and put your names so I know who's on board. Humanities Destiny on board, and today is Wednesday, September the 10th. Okay. 2025, and then we'll put me here, Lon Appleby. Okay, so I'll leave this here. If you want to just come up and get a lineup going while I'm getting set up there. Thank you. Excellent. All right, so we are just getting set up over at the board with students putting their names on board, and of course, I can see you online right now. Do me a favor, those who are now with us in the Cosmos online, would you just all enter your full names into the live chat? I don't always see your full names automatically, so I need to see them there. So Dalton, great. Dalton Westerman, Sabrina Hickman, very good. Rudra Patel, Kush Kumar, oh, that's the AI. Were you here last week in person, man? Or who was AI? AI. It was AI in this class. There's an AI.
It's me.
Oh, is that? Go speak again. Go ahead and speak.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, great. This is working today. The speaker. Excellent. How did that happen? I have no idea. Okay, man. So that's good. We have a speaker working in here. And then that means that the onliners can actually speak too. And so, okay. I'm going to begin the class, and we can also finish this while I'm introducing the class. So not to worry, keep going. You can listen to me as you're putting your names there. Welcome everyone to Humanities Destiny for our second class of the fall 2025 semester. And I am afraid that the tech continues to be a challenge. So there's even something else I need to tell you about today in terms of tech. So the only way I can make this work for now is that I'm going to have to stand at the podium like this, do the class essentially from my laptop with my on camera, my laptop camera and microphone like this. Everything's recorded on YouTube. Everything's good. It just means that for the online students in the Cosmos now and all the students watching asynchronously, later, you don't get the full blast of the class, which is that nice wide shot of the room. You see people, you see the cameras working. I have some serious tech issues this semester, and I'm trying to troubleshoot them, but this is the way it's going to be, and it will be fine for the online students. You have at least all the audio and the images, the best I can get them to you, and anything else I will just explain to you from the podium. And also, I will bring students up here as well to, did we do that last week? I brought students up to the podium? No? Okay. I do that sometimes in other classes. So, excellent. We have a plan. We're going to now just carry on with the class. Just to let you know what's happening in person right now for all the onliners, there's a good crowd here that are signing up now on board. We're up to number 11 on the onboard card. And if I can count, I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 3 or 4. That's great. We have an excellent turnout for the in-person group. And for all of you online, of course, you can always come in person next week if you wish. So let me just check and see what's happening up on the board. Great. At least with this panel, I will keep that the way it is largely. And that means that all the in-person students can see the live chat as it's going. It's right up behind me. And if we need to, we can always connect to the Cosmos through audio too. But for now, we'll just leave it in the live chat. Okay, so as students are signing up and putting their names on board, I just want to let you know that what we're going to do today is going to be a slight change in terms of the lineup as I had planned it. So here's what the course will be presenting to you week to week. Last week was the course introduction, and I was planning to do thinking about the future, how to think about the future in practical ways today, but I've decided to switch it and bring current event, which is a topic that would be coming later in the semester between science and religion and new worlds, the beginning of space exploration, because there's a very important current event that's developing on campus that I'd like to talk to you about. And I would like to also talk to you about it in terms of its meaning for our future. So the plan was always for us to be exploring one current event that we think is important at some point. And today I've chosen a current event because I think that it's important that you understand more about what this event means and what it means for our future. And we're going to unpack that event together today. And what we'll do is, after I speak for a little bit and set things up for you, give a brief lecture, then I'm going to create teams, and you will work on your teams, and ideally you will begin to put your own notes together at the individual pods. So for example, Harris, is it? Harris, if you look behind you, you'll see that the pods there have the cards out. So I will be able to give you pens and you can work together, and then we're going to take things up together as well. So you're going to start to get more of the experience, the in-person experience of being in this classroom, which starts to feel increasingly less like a classroom and more like a think tank, a collective think tank. When we have all of this working well, not today, it feels like a theater as well, because we will have students on the couches looking up at the big board, and we have videos, we have notes and things happening there as well. So this classroom really can become really alive with different media as a multimedia classroom, and ultimately as a way for all of you to interact with that media and with me, to be thinking deeply about the human future on planet Earth. So a current event is what's coming up on the menu today, and I am your chef, or maybe your maitre d', and you've just arrived at the restaurant, and I'm explaining what's on the menu tonight. And I hope that the meal that I've tried to kind of cook up is going to be satisfactory, but you still have a lot to add to this meal to make it worthwhile. So maybe my metaphor of a chef and a maitre d' is not entirely accurate, but at any rate, that's the plan. Okay? So before I begin with a little bit of a talk about a current event and explain to you what is happening, is there anything that any of you would like to bring to the class's attention? Anything that you would like to talk about immediately that's on your mind? I will always ask you that at the beginning. You're welcome to raise a hand or just jump in. And if it's really significant and you really want to talk, you can come up here and you can actually be talking directly to everybody with my microphone, and then all the onliners will hear you clearly. So I don't see any questions at this point. I do see students beginning to maybe disappear into their devices, but that's okay. I mean, it's going to happen. But I just thought I'd present to you a little fact about devices that I heard in the last few days from Statistics Canada. Has said that the maybe loneliest people in our society today, the loneliest generation, may be Gen Z. That loneliness is popping up as a significant problem for younger people post-pandemic. Well, that's interesting. And just maybe, if it's true, Statistics Canada is a pretty good data gathering service. Is it possible that the more time we spend online, the more lonely we become? Is that possible? What do you think? Or am I just being a grumpy old 62-year-old dumping on to tech? What do you think? Well, just think about it. You don't have to answer. But I think that is interesting. It might be possible that the less lonely you are is when you engage more in person with human beings and not machines. I don't know. The final question to this, which I don't expect you to answer in any way, would be raise your hand if you feel lonely a lot of the time. But you don't have to raise your hand because nobody wants to admit to that. Anyways, let us begin this class, because this class is not about loneliness. It's not about social media and about tech, but it is about a current event. And I see on the live chat that somebody's put something in there. I'm not even going to look at it. And I'm going to ask, I don't know, Nikki or Kiki. Sorry, Kiki. What did our live chat Cosmos just say? Oh, it's okay. I think spending the good. I'm going to read it. That means we have an engaged online can give us realistic expectations. Huh. Well, listen. It's great to see you all here coming in person. And if you're coming in person because you want human interaction and you want a real live human experience, more power to you. If you're coming in person for easy marks, more power to you. I don't care how you get here, as long as you're here. However, I'm going to ask, as always, that if you get bored in this class, if you're not interested in what we're talking about, please exercise some discipline on your relationship with your machine and your device, and try not to default to your machine for stimulation and for connection. Try to just sit with the boredom, try to be mindful of what's happening, and try to pay attention to what's happening in flesh and blood. Otherwise, you might become lonely. So I need to tell you about a current event that we have to talk about. How many of you received an email yesterday from the college about a potential strike action tomorrow on campus? Quite a few. Online, do you want to light up the live chat with hands, digital hands, and see if it lights up? Or do we see who online? Here comes I did. Okay, you can light it up, and let's see if we... I'm going to assume that a lot of you didn't. So for somebody who did, let's get this interaction going. Let's put some gas into this class. And I'm going to ask one student from this in-person gathering of human beings, flesh and blood, one to volunteer to tell the other class what the email said. And I could sweeten it by saying I might give you a bonus participation mark, but I didn't say that yet. Okay, Mr. Timberland, what could you come up, please? Yeah, watch. Now we're gonna get Mr. Sorry, well, I thought I saw Timberlake, but I could you come up right here so they can hear you? I was and remain a fan of Justin Timberlake. I think he's a brilliant talent, but he's sort of gone off the deep end lately. Okay, Mr. Timberland, could you come here? And good, you need to be seen. That's the microphone. That's there. They can see you. Could you just tell everybody, including the 2 people on YouTube live stream, not the whole world, but everybody, what it said? And when you say it, don't look at your device. But you can look at it beforehand, just to know what you're supposed to say. But when you speak to people, you cannot refer to your device. This is not easy. I might just give him full marks today for being courageous enough to stand up here like this. Okay. So what does this message? Could you just give me your phone for a second?
Yeah.
Just I will hold it.
I was just.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. What did the message say? What's your first name?
Noah.
Noah. What did the message say?
It said that on September 11th that they were planning on having a strike.
Good. Let's see. It has been said, studies have said, that the more you refer online for information, the less your memory works, and memory formation gets soft, and humans start to lose their memory formation. So let's just see how Noah's memory is working. But this is tough. Say anything else about the strike action?
I didn't get to read it all.
It was a brief message. Okay? It was a brief message. Have I kind of put enough pressure on him for now? Should I let him go back? And Noah, that's gutsy. You came up. Thank you. Okay, and give Noah. Can we give him a hand? Okay. Humanity's destiny is all about human beings, and ultimately about what makes us human and is special about humans. And I love the fact that Noah came up here, and at the end, after all that pressure, he smiled. You know, like a really human moment that I felt. I'm not sure I'd feel that if I had a device trying to feel something. But humans have these things called messy emotions, and we just saw that on wonderful display. Now, I want to tell you about this current event that's happening. The strike action that may happen tomorrow on September the 11th is very real. It is not faculty who may go on strike. It's the full-time support staff at the college. That's all the people who provide tech support for me, for example, here. All the people who provide support in the student academic learning services, SALs, remedial support, coaches, people in the recreation center, anybody outside of the classroom, essentially, people who keep the washrooms clean, the halls clean, all of the support staff that keeps things running. They are going to be announcing tonight if their negotiations, their bargaining with the College Employers Council that represents all the colleges in Ontario has broken down completely, and will they strike tomorrow starting at 7 a.m. They will announce that at midnight tonight. You might have seen coming to campus today from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, some people just at the corner, the street Simcoe and I think it's Taunton or Dixon or whatever that goes east-west, that there were some picketers walking with their placards. I was among them, joining to support the full-time support staff who were practicing picketing. They were doing a practice picket session. They haven't gone on strike yet. They were just practicing. And this is a very interesting event that's unfolding on the campus, which is that it's very possible that as of tomorrow, the campus will be a very different place because the 400 or so support staff will not be working. They will be striking. We won't know that until later today. But I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this idea of protest, about strikes, about disruption, and how you see this kind of event and how it's connected to what's going on around the world. It's very important that when we talk about current events today, we recognize that we live in what's called a global world. It's global and local all at the same time. And this is something I really want you to understand as we go deeper into this today, which is what does this strike action mean? The fact that they're ready to strike, it doesn't mean that they will, but they're already practicing today. So they're very close. You may have been reading the news, or hopefully you've been connecting with current events today more than just the stuff that comes through your social media, Instagram, Facebook, and others, but that you're actually learning about current events from good sources. This is important. You should know. This should not be news to you if I tell you that a lot of people have been going on strike lately. The flight attendants. How about postal workers? You can look at other businesses and you can look at organizations, and you can now look at the college system in Ontario, and you can begin to see that something is happening. So what do these strikes represent? And are they happening with increasing frequency in other countries? We need to learn a bit more about that today. But what does the event that's unfolding now in Oshawa say about our destiny as humans together right now in Oshawa? I picked an event that I felt would be very relevant to you, very direct, something that's happening right now, right around the corner, a strike action. In the past, when we've done current events, we've picked things happening around the world, things that aren't necessarily directly relating to us. It might be, a wildfire, or it might be a war somewhere. It might be somebody important has died in another country. It might be something that is really important, but it's not directly connected to us right now in Oshawa. But in today's current event, I picked something that's directly connected to your daily lives, because your daily lives will be affected starting tomorrow if they go on strike. But they're already being affected if you have been trying to fly somewhere with flight attendants, if you have noticed that there are companies now that are beginning to think of relocating to the United States to follow the Trump agenda there, and there are actions that employees of companies are beginning to consider, even Starbucks. Starbucks, a big international corporation, has been dealing with an attempt to unionize its workers. So I would like to understand from all of us today as we explore this, first, why would these full-time support staff at Durham College be on the verge of leaving their work from here tomorrow? These people have families, they have children, they have mortgages. These people who will strike, if they go on strike and have voted for this strike, if their union determines that it should happen tonight, these are people who've been told they may have to get another job while the strike is ongoing, that the strike pay that they would receive would not be nearly enough to pay for their mortgages. These are people I built this facility with, technical support. What's happening here? Why do people go on strike in 2025? And what does that say about our future? What are they striking for? Who are they striking against? And what kinds of questions should we be asking so that you can be more clear yourselves of how to deal with a tremendous amount of disruption that you will be faced with when you graduate? You probably will face probably 5 or 6 career changes, as we are beginning to see from studies that are coming in, because there is so much volatility in the workplace today. So many changes as a result of more AI being used. So I'm not sure what issue we need to be grasping onto today to understand what's at the heart of this potential strike action. But this is a current event that's important to understand for your future, because it's going to happen again, and it may happen in your own company or your own organization when you graduate. So I saw some hands go up. We can start a little bit of the conversation, but we'll just have a tip of the iceberg conversation now. Then I want to get you into teams and let you begin to interact with each other and see if any of you, for example, have even experienced a strike before personally. Have you ever worked at an organization where you've had to walk a picket line? Do you understand why you would want to do that? What is at stake when people make a decision that they no longer want to work for the conditions in which they have been working? Okay, so that's the current event, and I'm just going to come away. I can still be heard on the microphone from my laptop. Any comments right now before I get you into the teams and we can get the interaction going? Did I see Kiki, or did I see somebody just raise a hand? Yeah, go ahead, Kiki.
I mean, I think the simple fact of the matter that it all boils down to is money. Nobody's getting paid enough. The big people at the top are lining their pockets. At the end of the day, it is all about money.
Okay.
And I mean, honestly, I support the people striking. I support them wanting to have more money because the work that they do is invaluable here.
Yes. Okay, so Kiki is saying for now, and for the moment, I'm going to have the notes done a little differently today, just because I want to make sure that we can move along. In the live chat among the Cosmos, I would like one of you to be taking the notes for everybody. But here is the kind of bonus that you will receive. If you do this, this will be your full participation mark. You will receive 5 out of 5 for participating in today's class by entering the notes into the live chat. If you don't want to do that, that's okay. There are other ways we can do this. But there we go. Sabrina, 5 out of 5. Excellent. So here we go. First important note that we need to go into the notes, and we will begin to take this up. Is this about money? I'm going to say it is. Kiki has raised this, but we're going to get more specific than that. But certainly we need to start there, okay? Is this about money? Was there anybody else that wanted to add something before we start to break into groups and really work through this? What do we think this is about? And remember, we're talking about your future outcome. So as we have this conversation, try and think about your own future in the workplace and the future for others. What's at stake here? Yes?
I would say it's also about working conditions.
Working conditions.
And job security.
Job security. Working conditions. Okay, so Sabrina, money, is it about money? Is it about working conditions? And is it about job security? Working conditions, money, job security. We are going to, through the group activity, begin to define exactly what's at stake here, what's really at stake for our destiny. Does anybody want to add to this before we momentarily break and we can really get the discussion going? But I have some thoughts for you as well before we start. Okay. When you go into your teams, as you will shortly, and I'm going to create the teams, I want you to think big picture. What does that mean, big picture? It means that I want you to think about what is the challenge that we as humans, all of us together on this planet, are facing as a result of a conflict that has been developing between the people who work for large organizations and the people who manage those large organizations. whether it's a corporation with senior management and the people who work for them, whether it's government, the public sector, the senior managers, and the people who work for them, whether it's an institution of learning and there are managers, those are not the people who go on strike, and then the people who work for them. Are we seeing somehow an increasing divide taking place between what the people in management want and the people who are working in the normal job and are not part of management, what they want? Are we seeing something happening in large organizations? Are we seeing something happening as a result of the changes in the United States and Donald Trump and the MAGA movement and the tariffs? Are we seeing something happening to international supply lines as a result of the pandemic? This is what I want you to start to think about, that as you look at this issue happening locally, and you begin to talk about what exactly do the support staff want. And you can find that out from websites that I will show you. When you look at what their local demands are, how does that connect to the rest of the world, the bigger world? Are there strikes taking place in Japan? You need to find out. Are there strikes taking place or protests taking place in Bangladesh? Are the student protesters in Nepal? You aware of what just took place in Nepal? The government in Nepal, a small country, tried to ban social media because they said that they were trying to remove hate speech from it. So they were said to all people in Nepal, you will no longer have access to your social media account. And they faced a massive protest in the streets in Nepal. In Nepal, that's where Kathmandu, Mount Everest, this is far in the eastern part of the world. And you have young people coming together onto the street, connected to the same websites you are, saying the same things. 11 of them were shot and killed by the army in Nepal. The president of Nepal has now resigned. He may be leaving the country shortly, too. Those protesters, those young people who gathered and said, don't you tell us what to do. We want to be more free. We want to be respected. We want to have our technology. You cannot be simply cutting this off for us. Is that much different than the full-time support staff saying, colleges, you're not respecting the work that we're doing. You're expecting us to do much more for much less. As a matter of fact, 10,000 people in the college system in the last 3 years have been laid off. There has been a gradual shrinking of the college system so that the departments are getting smaller, faculty are being expected to teach more students, and we have now companies. As I mentioned last week, I think I did, Shopify, Amazon, and others who are saying that you need to demonstrate that you can do what AI can do, otherwise you will not be hired. So there's big disruption happening now everywhere. How do you think that what is happening here, after you define what's happening here, is connected to the rest of the world? What should we be thinking about as human beings that is an issue here that matters to everybody? Does that make sense? That's called global thinking. There's a local problem, but it's also connected to things that are happening internationally. What's that international thing? And once we define that, we begin to understand that all current events today are global, but they're local. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to put you all into groups. I'm going to give you a number, and we'll get this going, and we'll adjust the heat in a moment. It's a little cool. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would say we'll keep the group with 4 right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keep that number in your head, okay? 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's see how this shakes down. I may have to make the groups bigger. All number ones. Could you please go over to that screen over there? You can just sit around it. You can grab a table. All number twos. Please go and gather around the next screen over there. Number one's over there, please. Number two, you can stand, you can sit, and we'll see how. All number threes, please go over there in the corner, and all number fours over here, and I will see if we need to adjust, okay? So here we go. And I'm gonna give each of you a pen. I'm raising it because it's something we're getting the air conditioning, but I might do this, okay? Just because it will warm it up for you, right? So I'm going to give each of you a pen, at least each team, and that'll make it better. Okay, so this is team number 1. Okay? Team 1, and here you go. Well, okay, so you're team 1. And you can change the color on this one. Okay, let's see how that works. And yeah, great. Okay, so we'll keep that nice and clear. So you're team 1. I'm going to be saving all of these notes too. So somebody who has to take notes, please write all your names down here at the top, and then we'll start the conversation. Okay. So team 2, same. Great. Okay, so team 2, there we go. And you can get the change the color that way if you need. Team 2. So please put your names there and then get ready to take notes on your discussion. Okay. Team 3 over here. And great. Okay, and we're getting silver. Good. Black. Good. Okay, team 3. Okay, so names and then, all right, put your names and then the result of the discussion. And then team 4. And let's see what that palette. Should be not. Okay, so team 4. Okay. Melissa, our note taker. So here's what we'll leave the teams as they are for now. I thought I might make them a little bit even bigger. First, make sure you have all the names of your team members up there. Okay. So let's get that down. And I will come in a moment. Online, I will come to you all shortly. I'm just getting everybody set up here. What I would like you to do over the next 15 minutes is you can use your devices. You're welcome to use laptop, anything. Begin to have a discussion about what exactly has the union for the full-time support staff said they are striking potentially for. So you need to find that. And if you need to go to Copilot to do that, not a problem, okay? That's easy. You need to then write down, after you've had a discussion about this, as clearly as you can, what is the critical issue that they say they are prepared to strike for. Then you need to have a discussion about Is this something that's only happening in Oshawa? Or is this kind of demand happening in other parts of the world? And where? And we'll globalize that discussion, okay? And everybody's going to do the same thing that I've just said. Is that, anybody have any questions? You feel you understand the nature of what I'm asking you to do? You good, Noah? You clear? I'll come around and help you, but use Copilot for finding information. Don't use Copilot when you begin to talk to each other and interact. So there's a way to use your device, and there's a time to put the device away and begin to let the humans be the judges. Make sense? Okay, guys, go ahead. I'll check in with you soon. So, for the onliners, I would like you to essentially engage with the same. Ooh, my microphone is noisy. I'd like you to engage with the same ideas, but I would like you to really concentrate right now on what does this mean globally. So I'm going to let the students here really think about and make notes about the local demands that the full-time support staff are making and why they would strike for that. What do they want? They will also be globalizing the discussion, but it's really you, 11 now in the live chat and in the cosmos here that I'm speaking to. I want you to really think about what does it mean for the rest of the world, and why does the rest of the world matter when we talk about this potential strike action in Oshawa? How is this connected to what's happening in the rest of the world? That's what I'd like you to think about. And then I'd like you to write about that in the live chat in the best way you can, clear sentences. Okay? Is that clear? Good, Sabrina. Thanks. So you have about 15 minutes, okay? And I'm going to be watching what comes in on the live chat. And then we're going to take this all up together as we did last week, okay? So I'll stay here for now. Yes. Sure. The why they want to strike, and then how does this connect to the rest of the world that's happening elsewhere? So this is the time to globalize the discussion, and you begin to ask yourselves, is there strike action connected in any way to anything that's happening somewhere else? And are others in other parts of the world dealing with the same issues? And if they have been, how did they resolve those issues? First, you need to understand why they're doing it here, and then you open it to the rest of it. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good. 24 colleges in Ontario. Excellent.
It's around 10,000 full-time colleges. Across 24 colleges that are concerned. Yeah, I mean, it's not just college. It's actually,
24 colleges in Ontario. Team one is about that. That's good.
and so private.
What's happening on global market disruption? What's at the core of that? A lot of people disagree. No, it's okay. We have to talk about politics. But there's a way to talk about it which is respectful and smart. It's always about relationships. How do you bring that forward in societies? So I know we're talking politics here. We need to use politics, not organize ourselves. Don't do ourselves. So if we talk about global market disruption, what might be the question? You're absolutely right. Global market disruption is very important. Wage improvement. Is it connected to the rest of the world?
Yeah, no.
The rest of the world. Yeah, no, the rest. That's interesting. And also, how does the world connect to here too? So, what happens here connects to the world, but also the world is causing things that are happening here too. They just said global market disruption. Global market disruption. What does that mean? Global market disruption. Things happening in the bigger world affect what happens here. And at the same time, what happens here does affect what happens elsewhere too. Global market disruption is already coming up, and that's excellent. There's something going on globally with market disruption right now.
Sorry, my handwriting's not very good.
Ah, nice. You've got the union leader now. And that is JP Hornet. Good. You've got some good research. Keep going. I'll check in with you shortly. Okay, so let's see if there's anything coming in yet. Good. All right. So just remember for all of you online right now, and that would be I, Dalton, Kumari, Kush, Omar, Ronit, Rudra, Sabrina, Sneha, and one other here. I see. Just a second. And y'all. You can send your answer anytime, And I specifically want you to think about, how does this connect to what's happening in the rest of the world? What are the issues here in Oshawa leading to this striking? Exactly. Why would people want to strike now, and how that connects to what's happening in the rest of the world in terms of strikes, protests, and social conflict? The most important thing is to think about how this connects to the rest of the world. So, Dalton, if you can at least think about this, you don't need to go to any source for now. I'm going to give you a challenge specifically, Dalton, to think about it in terms of what you already know, based on your experience, based on your memory, based on your own critical thinking, your own ability to assess situations with what you already know. What do you think is taking place in the world as a whole that would lead people here in Oshawa to organize a strike against their own educational institution? And there are 24 colleges in Ontario, and they're all prepared to go on strike tomorrow. So we're talking about many people, not just Durham College. So do you think you can do that, Dalton, or do you think you have to go to your own device to provide you with information? Okay, good. Keep going another 3 or 4 minutes, and then we'll start to take it up together, okay? Job security. Job security there. Job security. Benefits, funding, and resources. Okay. I'm glad you got JP on it. Kennedy, Ontario Public Services employees. They're not even the ones who are going on strike. They represent faculty and others, but they support the union represents the support staff. So what she says is, well, we've gone on strike before, faculty. Okay, 2 more minutes, and then we're going to start taking this up. And we have Sabrina taking notes. Ooh. Oh, we got a good one coming in from Sabrina. Way to go. And y'all, nice. You got some people thinking. Exactly. Now we're on it, y'all. The strike could inspire similar actions at other colleges and universities across the globe, workers and other educational institutions to potentially take similar action, or it may create ripple effect across the national or other international. Exactly. And yeah, that's because people in France, people in, let's say, South Korea, people in Australia or Bangladesh, they have access to the same information that you do online, and they could potentially be learning about these events, wondering. There could be full-time support workers in Spain, who are learning about what the people in Canada are doing, and it may inspire them to act. This is the level of connection we have now. Here we go, Sabrina. The DC full-time support staff is mainly striking for job security, including limits on contracting out, protections against, and campus closures. Good, and good source, Durham Chronicle. Durham Chronicle's website. You've gone to a journalistic source, Sabrina, and that's put together by journalism students at Durham College, and these are people who study on how to be good journalists. So what they write is going to be based on the principles and ethics of good journalism. So it's a good source to go to. Okay, one more minute, and then we're going to start our take up. And I just want to check again with Sabrina. Was it you who checked your microphone before it came on? I can't remember if it was you, or can you just come onto your microphone for a few seconds so that we can do an audio check, Sabrina, and see? Because I'd like.
It was not me, but can you hear me?
Yeah, great. Okay, good.
Fabulous.
Excellent. Because I think what I'm going to do is at some point in our take up, have you read out loud what you've just written here, okay? Because this is
Sure.
a good detail. And I like the fact that you've gone to Durham Chronicle. Are you in the journalism program, Sabrina?
I'm in human resources.
Okay. All right. So 30 seconds. And then please stay at your stations. And I have news for you. You know why it's cold in here? Support staff. No, it's just there's no one here to properly monitor it right now because I turned it up to 26, 27. But there are people who are in control of this room in terms of maintaining the temperature and everything. Normally, when I turn something to adjust it, it immediately works. It's not working right now. It's getting cold. And it's because we have limited support right now. And I'm not going to call support to fix it because I want to support their action. They haven't gone on strike yet, but they're getting close. You wouldn't want to use the washrooms on this campus during a strike of the support staff. Definitely not. They won't get cleaned unless somebody from management comes. No. Anyways, finish up, and we're going to take this up together, and we have some good comments online. And we're going to try and understand what is the central issue here. So let me see who else. We have Sabrina, Dalton, great Dalton. Okay, you got to drive to school. Is it Rudra or Rudra? Could you just let me know how to pronounce that correctly? Rudra? Rudra?
It's Rudra.
Oh, go ahead. Please say that again.
It's Rudra.
Rudra. Thank you, Rudra. Great. So this is all working. Excellent. Okay. I think we can start our take up. And please stay there. I'll just check this a little bit so we can. Normally, what we do when we have the cameras and everything working is that people online will see you at each of the pods because I can have a camera coming on this group as they're presenting with the microphone and the same with everybody else. But I'm going to have to do this a little bit in a way that is awkward. I'm going to have to stand here and we're going to take this up together. And as individuals speak, I'm going to have them come up just the way that Noah came up to tell us what they have been writing on their at their stations. Okay, let's see if that works. And we'll try first with how about over there where Noah's on team 4. Team 3. Who from team 3 is ready to come up and tell the class what is written over there? Do you think you can do it without referring to what's written there? You can do it from your head? I'll give you a chance for a moment, okay? Just to help you with handling information. Take a look at what's written for a second. Just do a quick, and then get into your memory. You don't have to know everything, okay? But I want you to get into the habit of when you talk to people, you don't have your device to help you with information. You're doing it from your head only. Okay, come on up. This is enough. Something that you may be used to, but it's part of the communication essential employability outcomes in the course outline. Is I also am trying to help you in this class to communicate more effectively. That's part of what you're being assessed on. Okay, so what's your name?
Brendan.
Brendan. Okay, so Brendan, you just want to speak to everybody, and you're speaking also to online, and just explain to them what your team was determining might be an issue here.
Okay, so the first thing we discussed is what is the problem? What do the support staff want?
Yeah.
Why are they going on strike, essentially?
Yeah.
And so we found out they want improved benefits for like dental care, for visual care, and gender like reaffirming care,
Yeah.
as well as a wage increase. We also looked at how much work they have and how you said earlier how there were more layoffs. So
Yes.
they're getting increased work. So it's more difficult for them to deal with more students with less people. So that's another
Yes. Yes.
issue and why they deserve more pay
Yes.
and benefits. So we went through what are the consequences on the support staff. And
Yes.
clearly in the situation we're living now, financially, prices are going up, but if the wages stay the same, they can't afford to live.
Oh, prices have been going up.
Yeah. Mhm.
I guess as a result of these damn tariffs.
Mhm.
But the wages may not be going up at the same time, and you just identify an interesting conflict.
So this issue, because the prices of everything are going up while their wages stay the same, things become less affordable. And we looked a little bit into that and how that's causing a crisis for them. And then now we're looking at how to fix it, obviously with negotiation, paying them what they're worth is the way to fix it, as well as making sure they have the benefits that they're asking for.
And it's Brendan?
Yeah, Brendan.
Brendan. In terms of like humanity's destiny, what do you think we need to be thinking about as a result of this conflict, so that as we go forward in the next 10, 20, even 30 years, what should we be thinking about? Our future.
I think we should be thinking about how to make things more affordable and accessible with all of the new technology and AI we have, and using this as a tool to help people rather than just relying on the AI to do everything for us.
So we need to use all of these new technologies and tools that are causing a lot of disruption. We need to figure out ways to make sure that they can help us, help all of us.
Yeah, not just the top 1%.
Yeah. How are we going to do that? But that's a great problem to begin to think about. I think you nailed that one.
Thank you.
That's great. Okay. Excellent. Okay. So that's what we're trying to do right now, is we're trying to begin to elevate this conflict, to begin to understand what does it mean for all of us and for our future. And I really appreciate the courage you had. Brandon or Brendan? Brendan. Okay, good. Brendan. Okay. Team 2, who wants to come on up and explain, and then we'll have some of the onliners as well talk about what we think is really important here. Okay, just give your name and please go ahead.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Shazeb Tariq, and I'm part of the second team here. Basically, we dissected the conversation into 3 parts, and what is the strike targeting? What are they asking for, and then how it affects the world, and essentially on a more international level.
Yes.
First, we noted down government spending as the first thing in this conversation. I talked about, so the union published a report today, or I believe it was yesterday,
Yes.
and they talked about how it's important to keep any government accountable for their spending. And recently they talked in the article, it mentioned there was about a $2.5 billion deficit with, or sorry, $2.5 billion spend
Yeah.
on a skills development fund
Yes.
since 2020, but that fund isn't reflected in Ontario's public colleges, and the union is calling for an accountability, calling for a understanding for that, right?
Right.
So I think that's one of the factors that led to this strike, and that's what we talked about briefly there. And so along with that, along with the lack of funding that's received by colleges, that causes then unfair wages for the support staff, which is probably what triggered the strike. And we looked at what the union was asking for. They were asking for premium increases, secure benefits, a secure job in general, not have their contract revoked as has happened previously, before, like prematurely, that kind of a thing.
Yep.
And like when support staff go on strike, then it affects a lot of students' journey at Durham College, right? Whether they are domestic or international students, there can be a lot of issues with issues come up, right?
Sure,
And
sure.
lack of support staff is haywire. Like chaos ensues, and it's just not a good experience
Okay,
at
well,
all.
let's try this exercise for home. You saw Brendan being put on the spot to think about how this connects to our future. And we identified something around, well, prices are going up and wages are going down, and we've got to find that right balance going forwards. We don't want that to continue into the future. What is the thing here that we don't want to continue into the future? What do we want to resolve so it just won't happen again?
I think it's a lot of I'm not sure if it's the right word, but wage disparity, like a lot of wage divide, and just unfair funding across both the college and the government of any province whatsoever, right? Yeah, I think the biggest word here is accountability and explanation. So I think that when that is enforced, then it makes things a lot more smoother, or it helps people understand why things are happening the way it's happening, and then good solutions can come out of that, I think.
Accountability. We need to make sure that the people in power, in government, who are allocating resources to these institutions and organizations are fully accountable for how they allocate and why they've allocated that money. And they aren't always accountable. Do you know that we rely on journalists to make them accountable? That's the role of journalists in a free democratic society, is largely to hold truth to power. And if we don't have good journalists who are investigating corruption and mismanagement and incompetence, then we lose a very important part of our democracy. So we have to ensure that we always hold our leaders to account, and we have to ensure that we support those who try to hold them to account, like journalists. How about whistleblowers? People who have the courage to come out and talk about how something has been mismanaged in their organization. That's accountability. Do you know it wasn't long ago that if you walk into a school, there would be ashtrays? It's maybe before you were born, but I certainly remember in the 1980s and even into the 1990s, you could go into a bank and there would be an ashtray. People were smoking. Why do you think people don't smoke much anymore? Oh, because they know that nicotine and the tobacco that is in cigarettes is bad for your health. Are you aware that it actually goes back to something further, which is a person who was working inside a very large tobacco company called R.J. Reynolds, who actually took to the world documents that showed that R.J. Reynolds was making their cigarettes more addictive. And they knew that they were getting people addicted to cigarettes, but they continued to do it until this whistleblower, until this courageous person came out and said, look at what our company is doing. They're not telling you the truth about the risk of this to your health. And gradually that led to the anti-tobacco movement. And eventually, well, look at this. Who smokes?
Everybody vapes.
Yes, but I would ask if the risk to public health from vaping is as great as it once was from tobacco. Probably not, but I'm not sure. It's a good question to ask. Accountability is a really important force here. If the people in power who make decisions to allocate money are not accountable for their decisions, what happens to us? What happens to our societies? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay? Thank you. Just trying to help you to identify things that are happening in these issues that matter to our future. People who protest, they're trying to tell us something about there's something wrong with our organization. We need to change. Would you be among those people who protest 10, 15 years from now if you're working for an organization? Would you be that whistleblower? Jeffrey Wiegand was his name. Watch the movie with Russell Crowe called The Insider. It's a great movie that's based on the story of Jeffrey Wiegand, the whistleblower who told the world that the tobacco companies knew that their products were addictive. In fact, they were even adding chemicals to the filters to make them more addictive. And they denied it and denied it and denied it until somebody had the courage to stand up to them. Okay, let's do one more. We can't do everybody, but let's at least get us thinking about these things. And we have, okay, how about team 4? Not Noah this time. And then we'll come to Sabrina afterwards. So let me try and put just a little bit of tension in the class because we're hitting the afternoon doldrums. And even I get a little, I want my espresso or two, but I can't have it. So just that's some down the class to get some energy. Okay. Somebody, not Noah and not Melissa, has to come and stand up here, and it can't be you. So now I've got 3 students. I'm going to make it a little uncomfortable. It has to be you, you, or you. Now, which one of the 3 of you are ready to come up? How about you? You feel uncomfortable doing that? Would you do it? I want to make you uncomfortable, okay? I will move on, okay? I don't want to cause trouble. But I want to help you, if you feel a little bit uncomfortable, to overcome that fear and talk to the class. You do good. Okay. I want to make it difficult. So then, watch your phone, okay? It's okay. Now, you feel confident being able to talk about that without looking at it? I'll try. Okay, good. Okay? All right, so final one, and then we're going to go online, okay? Please give your name, and then let's see what comes out of his brain.
Okay, so my name is Daniel, and what my group discussed was we focused heavily on the why, and we were thinking of it that the communication, there has to be a disconnect between the workers and the managers and the higher up. So we were heavy on the disconnection that there is between them and the people who are leading per se.
Yeah. Oh, I even have a bit of information to add, some inside information to help you. Daniel just said that the management and the union appear to be at odds. They're disconnected. The communication is not very good. And that's why we've reached this point. Often that's the case. As the cliche says, war is what happens when language fails. You ever heard that before? It's a wonderful line. War is what happens when language fails, when people can't talk to each other. Well, guess what? In the cosmos, we're getting some interference from outer space right now. Could you please mute yourselves, whatever planet you're on, because we're getting some kind of extraterrestrial sounds. Thank you. Well, I was out at noon, from noon to 1 o'clock. I went to join the practice picket line, and I walked it with my old buddy, Stuart, one of the tech support staff here, who's been terrific in helping me build this. And he said, Vaughn, did you know that? He said, I heard, and he's not entirely sure, that management was so hostile recently, and they were actually shouting, like there was some shouting going on between management and the union, which he never had heard about in the past. I don't know if that's true, but coming from him, he's been a pretty good source over the years. I wouldn't doubt that. So what Daniel has said and what that team has said about communication actually may be, among everything that has emerged in the conversation right now, the most important problem for humanity's destiny. Given what I've just said, how can we communicate better? How can human beings, at times of conflict, be able to talk to each other? What should we do that we're not doing now? What do you think, Daniel? This is very important for our destiny. Is humans being able to talk to each other at times when they don't like each other at all, when they might even want to kill each other?
So I think that they should approach the conversation with the respect that they would expect the other person to give them.
And do you have any, based on your experience in life, Daniel, or from your culture, and any tips on how you enter into a conversation with somebody that you significantly disagree with?
I think it boils down to humility. So be humble.
Be humble. Be humble. Maybe recognize that the most important thing you can do is listen to somebody and not talk. Have you ever had that experience where you sit down with a friend, or you sit down with a family member or a co-worker, and they seem to talk at you? You go out for a beer, you go out for a good time, you talk to a friend, and you seem to be doing all the listening and the other person is doing all the talking. What happened to the dialogue? It almost sounds like it's a world of influencers talking at you, ba, 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 about what you should do. Where's the dialogue? I hope tonight, in the next hours, that the management here and the union here are going to be able to talk to each other. Doesn't look too good right now. And as a result, we probably will have a strike tomorrow. Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of the idea of communication? Because that was a very good point that he was making in here. And you put down lack of respect and poor communication. Where did that come from? That idea of poor communication? I'm just curious. Where did you pull that idea from? Came out of somebody's head?
I said it.
Did it come from you looking up something?
I just realized that most conflict, that could be the source.
Poor communication. So humanity's destiny has to be based on becoming better communicators. If we're going to reduce conflict, better listeners, more dialogue, all of these things sound so obvious, but we need to keep saying them. And maybe eventually we'll begin to believe that we can make things better. Yes, Noah.
Another thing that I think
is some people just don't want to listen to each other because decisions that they try, but like other people want, could affect their life. Usually for worse, that's why people choose not to listen, I would say. And I would also say it would be a small amount of people being a little bit inconsiderate of each other.
Is that where the humility comes in? When we talk about humility and humbleness, doesn't that mean that we're basically saying to everybody else, we don't really need that much? We're not that demanding because we don't need that much. Why do people need so much? Why do humans need so much? To consume so much, to make so much, to have so much? Why do we need to go to religions to tell us you need to do better with less? Go to any religion, Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Sikhism, and will any of those religions begin to celebrate acquisition, consumption, wanting more? They tend to tell us humans, to be happy, need to settle for less. Something to think about. Okay, thank you very much for bringing that. It's a great comment, poor communication, and I love the fact that it came out of just Daniel thinking about this. It came out of his brain. Okay, finally, I'd like to let Sabrina have a chance to read what she wrote, and then we're going to conclude, okay? But thank you all for this, and we can return to this next week. For those of you that didn't have a chance, I will be saving all of the notes, okay? So let's give Sabrina a chance. Sabrina, could you jump on your microphone now and just read out loud what you wrote in the live chat? Please go ahead.
Sure thing. Also, kudos to everyone that's come up to the front. 10 out of 10, guys. So pretty much what I had said was that the support staff at DC is preparing to strike for job security, to limit contracting out, for protecting them against tech advancements, campus closures, and staff cuts. Support staff are some of the college's key workers. They help maintain facilities, they work on student advising, help with the faculty and academic staff, and tons more that I will not get into.
Yes.
They play a part in preparing students for their futures, employees for their lives outside of school, or even new employment positions. And I think the striking goes beyond Oshawa and has many parallels between what's going on and some global strike developments, mainly because the employees' needs for financial stability and proper benefits, as well as job security, are all things that we want. Anyone that works a job is looking for this sort of thing. We all want to be compensated properly for the work and effort that we put in, and that support staff strike, the support staff striking is a testament to that. All over the world, people are striking to be heard and to be seen as an equal, particularly in the workplace.
Excellent, Sabrina. Thank you. And I want to add one thing, and then we can conclude something that may not have emerged, or at least that you've been thinking about, and that is this idea of rights, of human rights. Do you know that humanity's destiny now is a very fraught and entangled thing to talk about, because our world now is incredibly complicated. Complexity is something where there are many, many moving parts to things in our lives. And all of what happens around the world now can affect us here. We're connected to the rest of the world. And the challenges in our lives are very, very complex. And maybe the most complex thing of all is human rights. The people who are striking here, they want to be respected. And let me just tell you something about how complicated this is. When we talk about the rights of individuals, something that Sabrina was just putting her finger on, the rights of those young people in Nepal who said, you can't just cut off our access to our information like that. We matter. Our voices matter. You can't just order us to do something. The flight attendants who said, we matter. The work that we do. We can't be expected to constantly work under these conditions. Our rights matter. In our world today, you may never have thought about this. Everybody matters. Once upon a time in our societies, it wasn't that long ago, we would have kings and queens and emperors and dictators and generals. And we still see these people in countries around the world today. But generally speaking, there has been a movement over time, all over the world, where everybody wants to be heard. Everybody wants to be respected. Nobody wants to be anybody's slave. Nobody wants to be living in a society where the king and his family and others in the court are making decisions, and you have all those other people working hard who don't matter. We have democracy. We have freedom. And guess what? We have all these people in this classroom right now. Tiki, international students, Melissa, Black student, Jewish professor, you name it, and we all want to be respected. Talk about complexity. If we cannot communicate in a world where there's so much differences, we will have more conflict and war. There's no question about that. But if we can find a way, as Daniel and that team was just putting their finger on, but Daniel put it very nicely. We got out of his head, just find a way. We've got to communicate with all these different people, different genders, different desires, different economic demands. We have to be able to communicate. And that is going to be the greatest challenge for humanity going forwards. Is the more connected we are like this, the more we're forced to communicate, we're going to have to learn new skills of communication. I don't know what they're going to be, those skills, but it starts with that communication. That's a fundamental part of our future if it's going to be a better one. Does anybody want to add anything at this point to what we've discussed today in terms of this idea that we started with a little conflict in Oshawa, this strike action, and here we are talking about, at the end, a huge human concern, human rights, and the complexity of living in a society where everybody wants their voice to be heard. How are we going to manage that? That's big. And that's where I want to leave you, on that kind of mountaintop, if you will, looking out at the whole landscape. That's the big picture that we are facing as humans going forwards. We have to be able to communicate. Anyways, I'm going to leave you with that. And we have everybody on board there. We have in the live chat, we have the names. Sabrina, excellent comment. Thank you for reading that. I'm here if you would like to talk to me about anything. Have I missed anything? Anything that you wanted me to address today? Each week, you have, if you're in person, before next week's class, so discussion board 2 is already posted. Just a question. Since you came in person, were you here in person last week? Okay, just do your question. That's it. But as you'll see from the discussion board from last week, there are a lot of explanations from people. Those are the asynchronous students who are watching the recording, okay? One question. Everybody else good? And the full participation marked for who did the notes? Sabrina. And did anybody do notes there? No. I'd like to give a bonus mark to Daniel, but that's not going to happen today, Daniel. Okay. See you guys next week. Thank you so much. Good, Melissa. Thanks. we'll get you back on those notes next week. Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So the full registration work is posted online.
Yes, if you come in person, I think, were you here in person last week too? Yeah, just put the question, one question that you want to ask based on today's class.
Based on today's class?
Based on today's class, exactly. Just one question, okay? From your head. From your head, okay? Yeah, just like Daniel, from his head, okay? Good.
Prof, I have a question. Sure. So let's say the strike happens. Will you be posting that the strike happens?
Yes, yeah, for sure. And but I'm going to continue to. We've been advised that we can continue to teach. I will support the strike in other ways, but the right now we're being advised by our own union to continue to come to class because you guys matter the most. But I'm going to find other ways to support the. Let's just hope that today and tonight they're going to communicate better and there won't be a strike tomorrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's really what we want.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so let me save things. All right, everybody, let me make sure. Are you still with us, Sabrina? I don't know if you're still there. Yeah, okay. You know, generally what I do is for the notes, I save them and then I post them as the live chat in the folder, so that it's available there. That's what I've been doing. But what you can do. Here's what a student did in another class. You could actually, if you put your notes into the discussion board, and that will be your discussion post. That would be good. That way, you just copy them. Yeah, you could copy them into the discussion board. Okay, I'm going to be saving the live chat as it is now. But if there's anything else that you want to be posting or putting into live chat, just put it all into the discussion post. Okay. Exactly. Instead of the question, post your notes. That's right. That's all. Just cut and paste your notes and you get your 5 out of 5. Okay. Good work, Sabrina. Okay. Okay, everybody. I'm going to end the video conference. Is there anybody else that would like to? No, it looks like Sabrina, I've dealt with that. Her question. Good. Okay. Take care, everybody. See you next week. Okay. See you, Kiki. Have a good one. Okay, where are those pens?
I know. I was like, last semester.
Oh yeah. Honestly, I wish you the best.
Thank you. You're in the second one, right?
Yeah, I'm in the second year. Everything goes well. The classes pick up. And like all the uni classes, then like 2 more years there. So basically, right now, after let's say I pass, I need classes to math or fully transferred. But then I'll be so then I get my
That's it. Bro. I got it. I appreciate it.